now. The flag drops and we're underway. This is McGuinness on the pack. Stefano Benetti on a pattern as well. Nobody at 3. I'm just going to call them as they leave the line, because I know you're going to want to listen to the bike as much as anything else here as they leave here on Glencrutchy Road. Here's Michael Rutter on the Sealy. And that noise is James Hillier on the CSC Racing Honda. Changing gears as it heads towards Spray Hill. No one at 6, and the next away will be at 7. It's the Buga Racing partner, Maria Costello. Now the Norton of Jamie Coward. Dominic Herbertson away now on the Davies Motorsport Honda. We're hearing that Lee Johnston's not there, but the bike is. Chris Kinley has 10 leads. Chris?
Yeah, Lee Johnston's machine is in that little just before the no man's land. Lee is not here as of yet, so this could be a little bit of drama for one of the people who could have been up on the podium. No Lee Johnston on the start line yet. Can't see yet. The bike is still there.
I can see him. Yeah, I can see him coming through the crowd now. Swallows Array, Overspeed's away, and 12 away now, and that is Danny Webb. But I just saw Lee Johnston coming up the ramp, but he's going to be starting out of order because he should be away at 13. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap. Lee Johnston on the Davies Motorsport Honda can only think he was making his own arrangements, so I can only think he's got here late, as number 14, Bill Swallow on the Ducati goes away. There's nobody at 15, so 16 will be the Tab 2 Classics Honda of Mark Purslow. So where are they going to slot Lee Johnston in? Here's Purslow away. Next, the Honda of Chris McGahn. Now the Greenhill Racing Honda of Derek Shields. Norton Power now, Tom Whedon. And now the Steadplan Honda of Ben Ray. So 21st away will be number 23, Michael Sweeney on the CSC Racing Honda. Now the Norton of Heffin Owen, number 31. .41 next away, another Norton. This is Keith Clark. Next, the Sealy of Meredith Owen. And that is not number 25 underneath the arch. It's Dave Madston Migdal, number 35, who's next. So there's a non-starter, number 25, Mark Parrott. And I can only assume Lee Johnston's going to be starting right at the back here. That's the Honda then of Dave Madston Migdal. The Sealy next of Will Loader. And now the WeMoto.com match list, John Barton. Next the Honda number 63, Russell Robery. Dave Matravers away on the Norton. And Alec Whitwell, number 42 on the Bates Honda. .55, Colin Stockdale safely away on the Honda. And Johnson is in no man's land, away to go, but let's go to Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks Tim, welcome just in time. John McGuinness been through. Number 2 Stefano Benetti is behind him, but about 15 seconds difference on the road. So John McGuinness pulled out 5 seconds on Stefano Benetti between the grandstand and Glen Helen on lap 1 of this Bennett Senior Classic TT. And well, how does that stack up in qualifying times? Well, John McGuinness had a considerable advantage. His quickest lap, I think 14 seconds or there and thereabouts quicker than Benetti. And a little bit of a gap here. Of course, there was no starter at 3. We await the arrival of number 4, Michael Rutter. Here is a machine. It is number 4. Rutter safely through Glen Helen on his opening lap. But he's being caught on the road. James Hillier catching Michael Rutter on the road. The gap visibly down to less than 10 seconds. And in fact, when we go to adjusted time, James Hillier is ahead of Michael Rutter. Next machine into view. Down a gear. Knee comes out. Here's the left-hander is Maria Costello. And Maria's pattern goes 3rd fastest. But that is number 8, Jamie Coward. He's quicker than Maria Costello. Jamie Coward, number 8, moves into 3rd place on our provisional leaderboard. Another machine now flashes out of Glen Helen 2. Flick to the right, into the left-hander. That is number 9, Dominic Herbertson. Just makes it into the top 5, does Dom Herbertson, as Chris Swallow comes in, carried his corner speed really well there, Chris Swallow. Big wide line on the entrance to the corner, but managed to keep that speed up, and he moves into the top 5, into 4th place so far. That's 11, Alan Oversby comes through just outside the top 5, 7th quickest so far for Oversby. But it is John McGuinness with the early lead here in this Bennett Senior Classic TT. And Glen Helen on lap 1, number 1. John McGuinness leads number 2, Stefano Benetti, by 6 seconds. As 12 comes through, Danny Webb doesn't make an impression at the top end of the leaderboard. Danny Webb, number 12, he's 10th fastest to Glen Helen on the opening lap. But your top 3 at the moment is McGuinness leads Stefano Benetti by 6 seconds. And in 3rd place, number 8, Jamie Coward. He is 8 seconds back on Benetti, with Chris Swallow and Maria Costello making up those places inside that top 5. The ace in the pack here could be Lee Johnston, though, starting from the back of the field. And started at 5 minutes 40 seconds after the first bike away. 14 and 16 together on the road. 14, Bill Swallow. 16 is Mark Purslow. And Bill Swallow and Mark Purslow inside. Well, Bill Swallow inside the top 15. 18 comes through Derek Shields. That's a great start from Derek Shields. Number 18, just outside the top 5. 6th place so far for Derek Shields. Chris McGahn also came through just behind Derek Shields. But Shields there with a great start from number 18 up into 6th place on the opening lap here. But it's still no change at the top end of that leaderboard. McGuinness, Benetti and Coward in that order. 19 comes through, Tom Whedon. And Tom Whedon is just outside the top 10. Tom Whedon, 14th quickest so far on this opening lap. Next bike into the left-hander, that is 20, Ben Ray. He doesn't make an impression on the leaderboard, but number 1, John McGuinness, certainly is. McGuinness is through Balaf, as is Stefano Benetti. And at Balaf Bridge, McGuinness's lead extended from 6 seconds to nearly 7.5 now. So McGuinness just easing away from Stefano Benetti. 31 comes into Glen Helen, that's Heffernan Owen. Good qualifying time for Heffernan Owen, but just so far 16th fastest on the opening lap. So that's Heffernan Owen, 16th fastest. So your top 5, McGuinness, Benetti, Coward, Chris Swallow and Maria Costello make it up. But Derek Shields just behind Maria Costello. There's only just 0.2 of a second in on the opening lap here. That's 41. Keith Clark looks like he was struggling to get a gear there, just ran wide on the entrance to Glen Helen. And Meredith Owen now through. And Clark just ran a little bit wide on the entrance to the long left-hander here. Looked like he had a difficulty selecting a gear, but got one in there somewhere and has managed to safely negotiate this corner and making his climb up towards Sarah's cottage. 35 through now, that's Dave Manson-Migdal. Manson-Migdal 18th fastest. 38 is Will Loader, and a couple of these big singles are coming out really, really wide on the entrance here, trying to carry their corner speed. And we noticed that Chris Swallow was very, very impressive, did it really well. There was no tucking in and around the centre line to hit that apex, comes in really wide. But 40, that's a more conventional line, that's Johnny Barton. And 34, right behind Johnny Barton on the road, is Dave Matravers. And Matravers inside the top 20, 16th place for Dave Matravers, so good start from him. 63 comes through now, Russell Robery. And Russell Robery doesn't threaten the top 15, just 24th place now. But as we move down to the left bridge, the leaders all safely through. McGuinness, Benetti, Coward still in that order. McGuinness leads Benetti up the left by 7.5 seconds. Jamie Coward, third place, he's 14 seconds now down on Stefano Benetti, but he's just pulled away from Maria Costello a little bit. 13 comes through, there's Lee Johnston at the back of the pack. Number 13, Lee Johnston, goes into 12th place on our leaderboard here. 12th place there for Lee Johnston, who started at the back of the field. But your leader at Glen Helen was John McGuinness. He led by 6 seconds. And Jamie Coward third. He was 8 back on second place, Stefano Benetti. That hasn't changed that much at Balaf. It's still McGuinness leads Benetti with Coward in third. But the gap's just starting to increase a little bit. McGuinness at Balaf leads Benetti by 7.5 seconds with Jamie Coward third, 14 seconds back. Back to you at the grandstand.
Michael Sweeney confirmed as a retirement, number 23 at Ballacrane, making his own arrangements back. Maria Costello is quickest through the Solby Speed Trap on her pattern at 141 exactly. John McGuinness 140.4, Benetti 138.9, and Chris Boyd, this is way quicker than last year's opening lap and of course the practice we've had so far.
Yep, quicker than the practice times we've seen. Last year, John McGuinness was at Glen Helen in 5 minutes 13 today. He's there in 5 minutes 6 on the standing start lap, so it is considerably quicker pace. We're up into the high 110s, 110.6, something like that is the projection for this lap speed, Tim.
And the lap record, there's a little bit more to go there. The lap record currently from 2016, 113.342. Let's go to Roy Moore.
Yeah, down Lozère Road they come, the sound of that pattern, and John McGuinness sweeps out of Stella Maris, down 1, down 2, down into bottom gear, number 1, tight into the left-hand side, and away he goes. No bars are ripped off on this, the first lap, so the fly's on the run here to Ramsey Compy, a bit of a problem, but he's extending a little bit of a gap over Stefano Benetti. I think it was 2 seconds, but there's a red flag. A red flag is out at Ramsey Hairpin.
And Townsend as we are away. McGuinness goes on the pattern. Hear him going through the box and the gear changes as Stefano Benetti's away on another pattern. Isn't that beautiful, hearing it going away into the distance and heading towards the St Ninians Crossroads. Flag drops for number 4, Michael Rutter on the Sealy. Honda mount now for James Hillier. Just getting himself comfortable there. Maria Costello on the Buga Racing pattern is away next. Sound is Jamie Coward on the Norton, and that would be Dominic Herbertson. No, he's not. No Dominic Herbertson. So yes, just hearing Jamie Coward away on that Ted Wolf, the Craven Manx Norton going through the box as he went away in pursuit of Maria Costello, starting at 7 and 8. Next away is Oversby on the Honda. Now the Dunnell Racing Norton of Danny Webb is not there either, so in the right position this time should be number 13. It is Lee Johnston. Great being able to just hear it go away into the distance there. That Davies Motorsport Honda of Lee Johnston in the correct position this time on the starting grid. Through no fault of his own that he had to get back for the original race. The flag drops now for number 16 Mark Purslow on the Tab 2 Classic Honda. Chris McGahn on the Hughes Honda. Derek Shields on the Greenall Racing Honda. Tom Whedon on the Goathland Garage Classics Norton. Ben Ray away. Beautiful, just more Honda machinery there. Michael Sweeney, another Honda. Didn't want to spoil that one. The Norton of Heffernau, and here's another Norton for Keith Clark. Now the Seeley for Meredith Owen. Mark Parrott, number 25, who was a non-starter in the original race. So this is 35, Dave Madston Migdal on the Team Gimbert Racing Honda. .38 gets the flag dropped. Team Innovation Seeley of Will Loader. Next away, 40, John Barton on the Matchless. 63 is Russell Robery on the Honda. Under the Bennett's arch now is 34, David Travers on the Norton. Next away will be Alec Whitwell, number 42 on the Bates Honda, but let's go to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Right on the money, Tim. First man on the road is John McGuinness. Glides around that corner, slight little twitch on the exit, but nothing too dramatic, and he is safely through here. And well, that seems like longer than 10 seconds to me as the second man arrives. It's Stefano Benetti. Puts that into the left-hander. He gets in behind the Farron with the power back on, and indeed, John McGuinness 6 seconds up on Benetti. And that is John McGuinness, Stefano Benetti, the first two through here. Little bit of clear road now as we wait with non-starter at 3. Michael Rutter at number 4 should be the next man on the road. And we hear a machine coming up the valley now. Flash of light as he comes around the exit of Glen Helen 2. Knee out into the left-hander. Back onto the power, tucks himself in. Rutter safely through here as well, but it is McGuinness leads Benetti by 6 seconds. Rutter at the moment, third quickest. That's 5. James Hillier comes soon, trips a little bit wide on exit, but carried his corner speed really well. And James Hillier just in behind Michael Rutter on corrected time as Maria Costello swings through. She goes ahead of Rutter and Hillier as we'd expect. The pattern's much, much quicker. And it is McGuinness leading Benetti. Maria Costello into third. As Jamie Coward swings through here. Again, he drifts wide on the exit, but that's a feature here as they carry the corner speed for that climb up towards Croncavodi. And Jamie Coward just tucks in behind Maria Costello. And Jamie Coward, fourth place, 3 seconds down on Maria Costello. So it's McGuinness leads Benetti by 6 seconds here, but very early stages in the race with Maria Costello third, as she is 5 seconds down on Stefano Benetti. Alan Oversby tucks into the top 5, just behind Jamie Coward. Less than a second the gap between number 8 Coward and number 11 Oversby. And again, that gap next to nothing, but again, we're very, very early stages of this Bennett's Classic Senior TT, and there's a lot more mileage to come just yet. 13 comes in, that's Lee Johnston, and Lee Johnston not quite on the pace. 7th is number 13, 7th fastest so far on this opening lap. And he is just a whisker away from 6th place Michael Rutter, just a 1/10 of a second separating Rutter and Johnston. So there's still a little bit of a gap there, and that gap, James Hillier 8th at the moment. He's 2 seconds down on Lee Johnston, and those gaps very, very small indeed, and can change quite dramatically when they start to swing through up the lap bridge. That is 16 through. Number 16, Mark Purslow, safely through here on his opening lap. Another machine swings out at Glen Helen too. 2 together. First one of those 18 and 17. 17 is Chris McGahn, 18 is Derek Shields. Derek Shields continues with his good start. He started well in the opening of this race, and Derek Shields, number 18, up to 6th place at Glen Helen on lap 1. And it's still no change, though, to that top 5. McGuinness leads Benetti, Maria Costello 3rd, Jamie Coward 4th, Alan Oversby 5th. And Alan Oversby just under a second down on 4th place Jamie Coward, but Derek Shields only a 1/10 of a second between him and Alan Oversby, so it is tight down in those slightly lower places. 20 comes through, that's Ben Ray. He doesn't threaten the top end of the leaderboard, but John McGuinness does, and he's through Balaf Bridge already. So that's John McGuinness on the road at Balaf Bridge. And it won't be too long before Stefano Benetti gets there, and he does. Benetti just through now. McGuinness has stretched that lead from 6 seconds to 9. We get 23 and 31 through. 23 Michael Sweeney, 31 Heffernowen. And Heffernowen 13th fastest, Michael Sweeney 14th fastest so far. But McGuinness and Benetti out at the front end of the race. Numbers 1 and 2 in that order, and John McGuinness stretching his lead now. 9 seconds he has the race by at Balaf Bridge, but just those 2 through so far. 41 comes through here, Keith Clark. He had trouble selecting a gear on the entrance to this corner on lap 1, but he's got himself straightened out this time around. Meredith Owen comes through now, number 36. As Michael Rutter gets through Balaf Bridge. So 1, 2, and numbers 1, 2, and 4 now all through Balaf. And John McGuinness will be winging his way towards the speed trap at Sulby Straight. And Stefano Benetti not too far behind him on the road. James Hillier and Maria Costello now through Balaf. We'll take 35 and 38 through here. 35, Dave Madsen-Migdal. 38 is Will Loader. Will Loader currently running in 14th place. Dave Madsen-Migdal 18th place. And the change at the top of the leaderboard, there isn't really any. The leader's just pulling away from everybody else a little bit. As 40 comes through here, Johnny Barton. John McGuinness leads Stefano Benetti at Balaf by 9 seconds. Maria Costello, number 7, is in 3rd place. She's 9 seconds down on Benetti. 34, Dave Matravers, and 63, Russell Robery. Dave Matravers went well on the first run of the race, and he's going well in the second run too. Number 34, Dave Matravers, up into 14th place. That's 14th place for Dave Matravers and at Glen Helen on lap 1. But at Balaf Bridge, it's still John McGuinness with the lead. 9 seconds over number 2, Stefano Benetti, with Maria Costello 3rd. 9 seconds back on Benetti. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, just looking at that Balaf Bridge leaderboard, we've still got to see Derek Shields go, because he was 5th, of course, at Glen Helen. Not in there at Balaf Bridge. But, well, Maria Costello, Jamie Coward have fought for podium positions in this race on more than one occasion before. Sulby Speed Trap, and again it's Maria Costello who's quickest at 141.9. John McGuinness 140.1. Stefano Bonetti 138.7. What sort of lap are we on, Chris Boyd, for McGuinness?
A little bit down on the pace from earlier this afternoon. John's into Balaf in 8 minutes 45.5. It was 8:44.2 on that opening lap of the red flagged race.
Okay, so still await number 18, Derek Shields at Balaf Bridge. One of the non-starter to bring you is number 70, Tony Tuttle, retired in the earlier race. So it is John McGuinness by 9.2 seconds from Bonetti at Balaf Bridge. And Derek Shields, in fact, is in 6th position at Balaf Bridge. So he has dropped down. Well, no, he's in the same position he was at Glen Helen, and a similar gap, 0.7 behind 5th place Alan Oversby. Maria Costello's in 3rd, 9.4 down on Bonetti, and it's just 2 seconds then back to Coward. Let's go to Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
We've heard him down Lazaire Road, we've heard him through Cruikshanks, we've heard him through Stella Maris. We're listening to him now at Ramsey Hairpin. Number 1, John McGuinness. He goes, the rear light still on and away up towards the waterworks, so increasing that lead at Balaf Bridge over Stefano Bonetti. He will be the next rider due here, but it was 9 seconds the gap at Balaf. But certainly here is Stefano Bonetti going round Ramsey Hairpin this time and not stopping, and certainly looking back over his left shoulder to see what the difference is. And there's a further 2 seconds being extended on the run from Balaf Bridge. It was 9 seconds there. It's now up to 11 seconds that John McGuinness, number 1, leads number 2, Stefano Bonetti, here at Ramsey Hairpin. But there's a good battle going on down there between Maria Costello and Jamie Coward. We're speculating that the flowing section from, and once they get up past Sarah's Cottage down through to Ramsey, that maybe the little single or the 500 single might make a bit of inroads. It was 2 seconds at Balaf Bridge, but we'll be expecting Michael Rutter now to be here at Ramsey. He was holding, I think, on at Balaf 7th place, and it is Michael Rutter on the single, as it always used to be, really, but not silenced. Sounds well as it goes away, crisp up the centre line on the road, pulling away there. He just gets it up another gear before having to knock it back. But here is Maria Costello now, but she's got number 9 behind her, number 3. She's got past number 3. Oh, that was a bit dodgy going away there. Number 3 was kind of jockeying in behind to see. It was number 5 was, my apologies. Yep, it was James Hillier and Maria Costello who were jockeying there. Got a bit confused on that one, but it is now showing itself that in 3rd place is Maria Costello, 15 seconds down on Stefano Bonetti, so she's increased that on the run to here to Ramsey Hairpin. In 4th place, number 8, Jamie Coward, but he is only 1 second, so we weren't far away with that speculation that he's pulled back a second on Maria Costello on the run here to Ramsey. In 4th place, Jamie Coward, but only 1.5 seconds down on Maria Costello. In 5th place, number 11, Alan Oversby. He's 10 seconds down on Jamie Coward, because there is number 11, Alan Oversby now. You can hear him in the background on the 4 cylinders chime in, and he's got only half a second advantage over Michael Rutter, who is up now to 6th place here at Ramsey. Number 4, Michael Rutter, just half a second down on Alan Oversby, but holding on to a 7-second advantage, 7.5 really, 7.512 over from James Hillier, who is holding on to 7th. Him and Lee Johnson are having a battle, because that is Lee Johnson you hear in the background now. And taking it away, another 4-cylinder machine, the Honda 4-cylinder, and he's only 1.5 seconds down on James Hillier, but increasing his lead at the front is number 1, John McGuinness, 11 seconds ahead of number 2, Stefano Bonetti. In 3rd, number 7, Maria Costello, with apologies there to James Hillier, getting the 3 and the 5 mixed up. So 3rd place for Maria, but only 1.5 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward and Derek Shields. This is number 12, who is here with us now. Lee Johnson, no, 16, Mark Perslow. There was number 18 as well through. So that is Derek Shields. Derek Shields has moved up now. He's ahead of Alan Oversby, taking over 5th place. He's 9 seconds down on Jamie Coward, but only 1 second ahead, 1.5 seconds ahead. Up in 6th place now, number 11, Alan Oversby, who was only half a second ahead. Off in 7th place, number 4, Michael Rutter. 7 seconds the gap then in 8th place for James Hillier, behind Michael Rutter. In 9th place, number 13, Lee Johnson, only 1.5 seconds down on James Hillier. Within 10th place, number 16, Mark Perslow, on that immaculate-looking machine. He's got a bit of a battle on there too with Lee Johnson. There's only 2 seconds in that between 9th and 10th. Number 13 holding on to 9th, Lee Johnson, but only 2 seconds ahead. Off in 10th place, number 16, Mark Perslow. The top 11 here at Ramsey Hairpin then goes to Chris McGahn, number 17. This should be him coming here now, I would suggest, if he hasn't gone through. And Ben Ray, but this is Ben Ray, I think, who's with us here now. That is number 20 here. So Chris McGahn has gone through Ramsey Hairpin as we were looking at the screen. And Ben Ray holding on to 13th place, number 20. He's 8 seconds down, though, on Heffernan Owen, who is here with us now. No, that's Michael Sweeney who is here with us now. So Michael Sweeney and Ben Ray and Heffernan Owen, number 31. Heffernan Owen, where does he slot in to our leaderboard? He slots into 12th place, 8 seconds down on Chris McGahn. Within 13th place, number 20, Ben Ray, 8 seconds down on Heffernan Owen. But there's only 1 second in 13th and 14th place. In 13th, it's 20, Ben Ray, but he's only 1 second ahead. Off in 14th place now, number 23, Michael Sweeney, as they went through the hairpin. And we'll have to amend that slightly, 1.5 seconds. McGuinness, Bonetti, Costello, Rutter, all through the bungalow. The lead has increased to 13 seconds at the bungalow. John McGuinness still leads, Marius Costello 20 behind, but it's up to 3 seconds now that Jamie Coward is down on Maria Costello at the bungalow. Back to the grandstand.
Yes, I think Maria Costello's had the extra power, the pattern against the Ted Wolfe Norton going up the mountain. John McGuinness is on for a 111 mile per hour lap from a standing start, and he's got quicker and quicker and really dialed himself in, Chris Boyd, the longer this lap has gone.
Yeah, it's getting quicker and quicker on the sector times. The climb up the mountain on his fastest practice lap was a 3 minutes 59. In the race here, it's 3:53.1, so noticeably quicker. Oh. And backing up what you were saying about the patterns, McGuinness a 3:53 for the climb of the mountain, Bonetti a 3:54.9, Maria Costello a 3:59.7.
And the light on for number 1, John McGuinness at Cronknamona. So I'll let Chris crunch the numbers and see what sort of lap we're on, and he's done that pretty quickly.
Up over 111.5 from a standing start.
He has just got quicker and quicker and quicker in this Bennett Senior Classic TT. So we look up to see the lights coming on at Cronknamona. There it is for number 2, Stefano Bonetti. Increased advantage at Cronknamona. It is now 16.22 seconds that McGuinness leads Bonetti. And, is Coward going to be able to nibble back at Maria Costello coming down the mountain, heading to Cronknamona and ultimately here at the grandstand? But our eyes are peeled up Glen Crutchy Road in the Onken direction, looking up past the police headquarters, and we can hear a pattern about to roar into view here. Let's hear it. Listen to that. Across the line he goes, and it's 111.679 miles per hour, 20 minutes, 16.240 seconds from a standing start for John McGuinness. What's the gap going to be back to Bonetti? You can hear Bonetti. We'll listen to him across the line. beautiful. Really, really nice to hear. 110.114 miles per hour for Benetti on his opening lap. 17.286 seconds, the margin that McGuinness holds over Benetti. The lead for McGuinness, Benetti in second, and who is going to be in third? We really await that, but let's just have a look at the Cronk-Nimona leaderboard, if we may, up there, and see where we are. But of course, these two patterns, the leading two, McGuinness and Benetti, have really stretched themselves away. But who is going to be next on the road? And, well, I can tell you who it's going to be. I think it will be Michael Rutter that will still be on the road in third. But, of course, on the timing sheets, he isn't in third. There's Rutter across the line, 106.548. Should have Maria Costello interview next. There she is. We await for Jamie Coward, but Maria Costello 24.4 seconds down on Benetti. There's Coward. And that too is James Hillier. The gap between Costello and Coward is less than a second, 0.972 of a second. The Coward is now behind Costello, so he's certainly made time up, tramping on down, back off the mountain, back down to Glencrutchery Road. So let's just take stock, shall we? John McGuinness is 17.286 seconds ahead after an opening lap of 111.679 miles per hour. And Benetti 17.2 seconds back as we await the next to cross the line. That is bike number 11 that has crossed the line there, and that's Alan Oversby. He slots into fifth place, 13.7 seconds down on Coward. So Benetti opens up with 110.114 miles per hour. Costello's opening lap, 107.977 miles per hour. Coward, 107.893. McGuinness has a 17.286 second advantage over Benetti, who in turn is 24.414 seconds ahead of Maria Costello, who's in third, but only just 0.972 of a second ahead of Jamie Coward. Just heard a klaxon, someone coming into the pits, I'm not sure. No, that's number 13 through, Lee Johnston, he's in eighth. So Coward's in fourth. And in fifth, we've got number 11, Alan Oversby, who's 13.7 seconds down on Coward. We've got to wait for number 18, Derek Shields, to see who's in sixth. Currently, bike number 4, Michael Rutter, is there, just 2.171 seconds down on Oversby. And that is Derek Shields. He's dropped, in fact, behind Rutter into seventh position. He's just half a second, though, down on Michael Rutter, who's in sixth, bike number 4. Seventh is number 18, Derek Shields. As I say, half a second back, but he's 14.2 seconds up on, in eighth place, number 5, James Hillier, and he in turn is, 6.4 seconds ahead of ninth place, number 13, Lee Johnston. So what an opening lap that was from John McGuinness. He just kept cranking up the speed as he went. Steady away, we say. Quicker than I'd ever want to go. But he just got quicker and quicker as that lap went on, and the speed just kept getting quicker, bigger and bigger. And, he really bedded himself into that opening lap. And, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does on laps 2 and 3. Let's go back to Glen Helen. Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Tim. We're waiting the arrival of the first man on the road. Should be John McGuinness. A couple of twitches from spectators. Something fast comes out of Glen Helen too. It is John McGuinness. Absolutely perfect. as you'd expect with a man of his experience. No problems at all there for John McGuinness. Went round here like he was on rails. And, well, he's got a commanding advantage so far, and it's going to be difficult for anyone to get anywhere near that, I would have thought. Stefano Bonetti should be the next man on the road. 10 seconds was the starting difference between the two. That 10 seconds has clearly elapsed now, but here is the next man. It's Bonetti. Again, no problems for Stefano Bonetti, but the lead that John McGuinness had at the grandstand was 17 seconds. It's now 20, so John McGuinness squeezed another 3 seconds out of Stefano Bonetti in the 9 and a bit miles from the grandstand out here to Glen Helen. And that is a lead that's going to get bigger and bigger. The difference in qualifying times on the fastest laps, at least, was about 13 seconds a lap. Well, obviously, John has got his race face on today, and that difference on lap 1, 17 seconds. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Stefano to keep in touch with him when he is going at that sort of pace. Next bike on the road should be the number 4 machine of Michael Rutter, but he has dropped quite a bit of time on the opening 2 patterns, and remember in the starting order, 1 and 2 away just before 4. There was a 10-second gap anyway with an unstarter at 3, so that gap just getting slightly bigger now as we await the arrival of Michael Rutter. I can hear engine noise as the bike comes up the valley. Yeah, you can see he's noticeably slower than the patterns as he exits Glen Helen 2. But again, carries his corner speed well, and Michael Rutter on the climb now, but Maria Costello not far behind him now on the road. She's going to get a look at him on the long Cronkavodi, I would think, in that straight line with the pattern going that much quicker. And the next man now, knee out into the left-hander, that's Jamie Coward. That gap between Maria Costello and Jamie Coward, it was less than a second at the grandstand, and it's now nearly 3 seconds. So Maria got a little bit of a hustle on between the grandstand and here. That's James Hillier through now, number 5, 5th place he's holding. It's James Hillier, number 5, holding 5th place at the moment, but that's going to change a little bit. We've got Alan Oversby and Derek Shields, who were both there before him at adjusted time. So it is John McGuinness leads Stefano Bonetti by 20 seconds. Number 7, Maria Costello in 3rd place. She is 28 seconds down on Bonetti. And we await the arrival of the next man. Here he comes. That is Alan Oversby, number 11. Oversby gets on the power, makes his climb up towards Sarah's cottage, and that long straight down there, a Cronkavodi. And we'll use this opportunity to give a little bit of a mention to some of the guys who made good starts on lap 1. Number 34, Dave Matravers, was down in start position 30, and I know there were a couple of non-starters up ahead of him, but up to 15th at one stage on the opening lap. That's a gain of 10 plus places, at least for Dave Matravers. Johnny Barton, number 40, he started start number 28 at Glen Helen on lap 1. He was up to 19th. And Will Loader and machine number 38, he started start position 27, and he was 16th at Glen Helen on the opening lap. So sort of moves of around about 10 places for those guys as we await the arrival of Derek Shields. And Derek Shields is number 18. He was on the road, let me see, just after Lee Johnston. So next man we should be seeing here is Lee Johnston. Machine comes out at Glen Helen 2. That is number 18, Lee Johnston. Number 18, Derek Shields, sorry. And 18, Derek Shields through here. No sign of 13, Lee Johnston. He was holding 9th place at the grandstand, and Derek Shields obviously caught and passed him on the road. So it is McGuinness leads Bonetti by 20 seconds, Glen Helen on lap 2. With Maria Costello 3rd and 4th place at the moment. We're showing number 8, Jamie Coward. He is 3 seconds down on Maria Costello. And in 5th place, making up the top 5, is Alan Oversby. It's number 11, Alan Oversby. In 5th place, he is 18 seconds down on Jamie Coward. Next man swings into view. Tips it into the left-hander. That is number 17, Chris McGann. Chris McGann just tucks inside the top 10. Let's have a look. He was in 10th place at the grandstand. It's again provisional leaderboard because we need, I think Heffernan may just affect the top end of that leaderboard. And Heffernan, number 31, he was in 11th place at the grandstand. So we're going to have a little bit of a shuffle around there with Lee Johnston not getting here to Glen Helen on his second lap. And that should move Heffernan and Chris McGahn potentially a little bit further up the leaderboard. I can tell you number 34, Dave Matravers, we were watching him here on lap 1 at the grandstand at the end of that first lap. Number 34, Dave Matravers, up to 14th place overall from a start position of 30, so a great run from him. And just tucked in behind him in 15th place, number 38, Will Loader. He's start position 27, and he is up to 15th, just behind Dave Matravers. We got time, I think, just for one more through. And that is the number 31 machine. 31 is Heffernan. And Heffernan, we make him just inside the top 10 at the moment, but it is John McGuinness leads from Stefano Bonetti. And in third place, number 7, Maria Costello. Back to you at the grandstand.
Well, if they can hold the bike together and get round these 3 laps, McGuinness and Bonetti look fairly secure in those top positions. Obviously a bit of an issue for Michael Rutter, because at Glen Helen he was 1 minute 38 down on Heffernan, 10th to 9th, and he's already through Balap Bridge, but he's 2.5 minutes behind the man in front of him currently, James Hillier. So doesn't seem as if Michael Rutter's Ripley Land Racing Seeley is firing on all cylinders. But at Balap Bridge, John McGuinness 20.5 seconds ahead of Bonetti, but it's only 0.7 now between Coward and Costello at Balap Bridge. They are having a mighty battle. But what sort of lap time we're expecting very quickly from Chris Boyd for John McGuinness?
The Glen Helen to Glen Helen was over 112, 112.1. It looks like he's backed it off a little bit. He's a couple of seconds slower on the run from Glen Helen to Balap on this lap.
Okay, and Maria Costello 141.3 through the Lee second time through the Sulby Speed Trap. But let's head up to Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
Yeah, we can hear the pattern in the vicinity of Ramsey. It'll probably round about the same place, just the exit from White Gates, and heading towards us here, sweeping out of Stella Maris, and certainly is the case down just to the left-hand side. As we look at it goes John McGuinness, and he's certainly got a determined mood on. Not very often you see John McGuinness with his knee out. He is a stylist, but certainly to keep it nice and level round the acute left-hander here at Ramsey. And for the first time in 2019 in this particular event, the Bennett's Senior Classic TT, up went the left hand and off came the rip-off. So he's got clear vision now up through the waterworks. The second man, Stefano Bonetti, it's 21 seconds, so he's pulled an extra second out on him. Stefano, a lovely line through Ramsey, I must admit, and gets it over as far as you possibly can using all the camber, but it's 21 seconds that the lead is for number 1 John McGuinness over number 2 Stefano Bonetti. It was 20.5 at Balaf Bridge, so a bit of a maintained station. 21.369 if you were precise, that it is now the lead for number 1 John McGuinness over Stefano Bonetti here at Ramsey Hairpin. But that battle between Maria Costello and Jamie Coward is going to go right down to the wire. Half a second it was at Balaf Bridge on this, the second lap. We'll be expecting in a few more machines to come into view, and certainly the disappointment there for the retirements, and certainly none less than Lee Johnson, but certainly the others there creeping up a bit now. And it was Maria Costello holding on to that third place. Number 7 Maria Costello, 34 seconds down on Bonetti, but just that half a second ahead off in fourth place at Balaf, number 8 Jamie Coward. So we'll be able to get that as resolved through. Well, it was in 1959 when Eddie Crooks won the Senior Manx Grand Prix on a Norton, and it was just round about that time that these patterns were getting developed after the demise in 1957 of all the works teams from Italy. Giuseppe Pettoni got together with a few more engineers and created this machine that you can hear through Ramsey now. Maria Costello, listen to it go away. And it's less than 10 seconds, I would think, between her and Jamie Coward, and that is the case, because up to third place has gone number 8, Jamie Coward, and probably on the mountain mile he will be able to see Maria Costello on the road. I'm pretty certain it's Jamie Coward holding on to third, 38 seconds down on Bonetti, but now 3 seconds ahead of in fourth place, who is now fourth, number 7, Maria Costello. There is number 5, James Hillier. We're not making a mistake twice, and he gets the Honda 4 chimed into life, but he's 56 seconds down on Maria Costello. So that battle on the run from Ballaugh Bridge, it was Maria Costello by half a second, but Jamie Coward on the single Norton has now moved up into podium third place and is 3 seconds ahead of Maria. Alan Oversby should be next, number 11. 2 distinctive ones on the front of the pairing. Just listen to the Davies Motorsport Honda go away from Ramsey Hairpin. And away he goes. It's not Davies, it's Ireland Honda. My apologies for that. And certainly he was a former rider for the Davies Motorsport Equip, but certainly now an Ireland Honda that at number 11 Alan Oversby is on, and he is in 5th place, 25 seconds down on Maria Costello, but holds an advantage of 30 seconds over in 6th place number 5 James Hillier. So there's no change. Derek Shields would be the one who would kind of get involved in that battle there if he was on the Ballaugh positions are to go by. He was holding on to 6th place as they went through Ballaugh. He was 7 seconds down on Alan Oversby, so that will be the next kind of timing point that we've got. There is another machine in the Ramsey area. He'll be swinging it up through the very bumpy Crookshanks and then taking it into the left-hander at Whitegates. Out, breaks the beam down the road very shortly indeed, and then just throttles it back and then up another gear before taking it and sweeping it round the right-hander at Stella Maris and up through the centre of the road here to us at Ramsey Hairpin. Number 6, Derek Shields, holding on to 6th place. He's only 4 seconds down now on Alan Oversby. 4 seconds down on Alan Oversby, and in 7th place now goes number 5 James Hillier, 26 seconds down on Derek Shields. So we've got 2 battles to look for where there's only 3 and 4 seconds separating the respective battles. That's for 3rd place, where Jamie Coward currently holds that, but only 3 seconds ahead of Maria Costello, who is 4th. And then in 5th place, 25 seconds behind, is number 11 Alan Oversby, but he's only 4 seconds ahead of in 6th place number 18 Derek Shields. Of those riders through, and going well he was, and sounding well as well, in 7th place number 5 James Hillier. Chris McGahn should be the next. I don't know what they've done to the exhaust system on that particular machine. Oh, it certainly sounds very, very well. Got a bit of an upswept on the back, which gives it this beautiful sound, which I'll let you hear now at Ramsey. 17, Chris McGahn. And that is very reminiscent of what we consider to be the kind of Japanese and Italian national anthems. In that particular case, it's the Japanese one, the 4-cylinder Honda. Certainly when they came to the Isle of Man in 1959, there was no 4 cylinders considered, but they looked round at all the other machinery and took many, many photographs, and it wasn't long. It was 1960 when they came back with a 4-cylinder machine. So that's the position from Ramsey as they complete their second lap. But for the meanwhile, back to the grandstand.
Yeah, and pattern power for Maria Costello hasn't quite worked on the climb out of Ramsey up to the bungalow, because she's fallen further behind now on Jamie Coward. The gap 5 seconds in the battle between 3rd and 4th. But John McGuinness, 21.894 seconds ahead of Stefano Bonetti. The news on Michael Rutter coming through. He has stopped at Glen Tramon with a seized engine. Stopped at Glen Tramon with a seized engine. We thought there was something awry, but the light is on for number 1, John McGuinness. So far, retirements as well as Michael Rutter. Number 53, Paul Williams at Cronky Number 43, Richard Lambourne at Kirkmichael Village. Number 19, Tom Whedon at Glen Helen. Russell Robury, number 63 at Parliament Square. At the grandstand, we saw him come up the return lane. Michael Sweeney. 13, Lee Johnston, retired at the Glendarrick Road. 16, Mark Purslow, retired at the Gooseneck. 36 Meredith Owen at Keppel Gate, and 73 Richard Stott also retired in the pits here at the grandstand. But John McGuinness will be emerging from Governor's Dip and onto Glen Crutchley Road. But those retirements from a 31 that started the race shows you just how attritional the Classic TT racing is. We can hear a pattern coming into our view and into our ears as well. Crosses the line. And 111.590 it is for John McGuinness. 111.590 for John McGuinness on this second lap. He's away on his last lap now here at the grandstand, heading down Bray Hill, down towards Quarterbridge, as we hear our second pattern, our second placed pattern into view right now. Stefano Bonetti. And Bonetti, 110.952 miles per hour for Bonetti, not hanging around at all, but he's 24.279 seconds down on John McGuinness. Bringing Chris Boyd here because there is a bit of a gap, but John McGuinness to me is doing a classic John McGuinness in his prime. He gets the lead and then he manages it.
I'm sure he's getting those pit signals because the pace did just drop off by a couple of seconds per sector through that second lap. The speed out to Glen Helen was really quick, obviously taking out the standing start part on lap one. Is Glen Helen was up over 112, and then the average just slightly came down sector by sector. He's clearly getting the signals. Stefano Bonetti, is doing very well to keep with him. He's keeping that pressure just there enough that John can't back it right off. He's only 24 seconds down.
Indeed. Well, the lights are on for bikes number 7 and 8 out at Cronknamona, and the gap between Coward now in third and Maria Costello has pretty much stabilised. It is still at just over, a fraction over 5 seconds. Maria Costello still leading on the road, but of course Jamie Coward will have her in his sights, and he will want to keep that down. He will know if he can see Maria just up the road that it's not going to be 10 seconds, but they're on to Glen Crutchley Road and it should still be Maria who's just ahead, but Jamie will just keep her in his sights. Let's listen to them across the line. So it's gone out to 8.7 seconds. Doesn't need to pass her. He's not going to make it up to second place, but he will just keep Maria, Chris Boyd, in his sights, and he knows he's then on the podium.
That's it. That's all he has to do now. He has to make sure that the power of that pattern doesn't let Maria pull away from him. He just needs to keep with her through the sections where it's really quick and gives the pattern the advantage, which he has managed to do for most of that second lap. And one more lap and he'll break the pattern domination on the podium.
Jamie Coward has been on the podium 5 times already at the Classic TT, but never on the top step. So looks as if he's going to join Johnson and Locker on 6. Again, the klaxon sounds, but it is bike number 5 there that goes through, and that's James Hillier, but nobody came into the pits. But Hillier there, 105.098. Oversby across the line, and Oversby 24.5 seconds down on Maria Costello, who's 4th, Oversby 5th, and in turn he's 45.3 seconds ahead of in 6th place number 5 James Hillier. Still got number 18 Derek Shields to take account of, and he should be the next into our view at the grandstand, making his way down from Cronknamona. He was just 7.9 seconds down in 6th place on Alan Oversby in 5th at Cronknamona. So we'll see what the difference is here at the grandstand on the leaderboard at the end of lap 2. Beautiful conditions. Just absolutely ideal. If a rider wants to pick a perfect day to race in, this would be it. No wind, no real dazzling sunshine, but really good visibility and good temperature as well on the roads. And, it'll be a bit sweaty in the leathers, but absolutely ideal for performance. So let's see Derek Shields now across the line and see where he slots in. Has he made inroads on Oversby? Oh, he's maybe well coming in, I think, here. He is coming in. Let's go down to Chris Kinley.
Here's Shields, he's coming in, the Irish Superbike champion, about to come in on the Honda number 18. Into his spot he goes there now, and the boys working hard straight away. This will only be a quick splash and dash. This will be. We're going to go to Glenn Helen with Dave Christian in a moment or two. But Dave, let's have a little look. Yeah, they're not. Just a quick splash, that all is. A little wipe of the rear, just a quick check on the back of the bike. In fact, they're putting a fair bit of fuel in this, to be honest with you. This will change it all. Tim Handler will have the numbers. This will move him down the order a bit. She fires up. Let's go to Glenn Helen. Dave Christian, last lap.
Yes, Chris, John McGuinness has just swept through here majestically on his final lap, and a little bit of a blip there in mid-corner. Throttle switched off momentarily, but got it back on again, and John McGuinness safely on his way towards Sarah's Cottage and Cronkovody. And 24 seconds the gap was between him and Stefano Benetti at the grandstand. Let's see what it is now. Here's Benetti onto the juice, and Stefano Benetti 25.9 seconds. We'll call that 26. So John McGuinness just eked a further 2 seconds out of Stefano Benetti between the grandstand and here, but it's nowhere near the big advantages he was clawing up earlier in the race. So as the guys say at the grandstand, he's clearly getting his signals quite obvious for him. He's just slightly dialing a little bit back, but Benetti just keeping that pressure on, though, just to let him know he's there. Next machine on the road should be number 7, Maria Costello. She was holding 4th place at the grandstand, just 9 seconds down on Jamie Coward, who was 3rd. But they are some way away from Stefano Benetti, so there's not going to be a big push into 2nd place. The gap between Benetti and Jamie Coward was 45 seconds. There's no way that's going to be clawed back, but Maria Costello and Jamie Coward could have a right old ding-dong. 8.7 seconds that gap, and if Maria can get away from Jamie a little bit, certainly in the straights where the pattern will have a big advantage, she might just be able to claw her way back onto that podium. But that's a long way ahead. There's still quite a bit of racing to do before we can know the answer to that. Derek Shields is the man that the guys were waiting for at the grandstand, number 18, start position 18, up to 6th place at the end of lap 2. So that was a great run from Derek Shields. And of course he has stopped in the pits, but he had a 34-second advantage over 7th place James Hillier, so there's a good chance that Derek Shields may just be able to hang on to that 6th place. 2 machines together, 7 and 8, and there's no getting away from Jamie Coward there. He is tucked right under Maria Costello's back wheel, and Jamie Coward, I don't think she's going to be able to shake him off between here and the grandstand. He's clinging on there like a limpet. There's no way she'll get away from that. So Jamie Coward, Maria Costello just about together on the road, and Jamie Coward has a 9.8 second advantage over Maria Costello. That's that 10-second starting difference virtually made up. And if he just sits in Maria's exhaust, there's no way she'll shake him off. But Jamie Coward currently 3rd place, Maria Costello 4th. But it is John McGuinness and Stefano Benetti way out at the front of the race. But John McGuinness, well, I'm not going to put the commentator's curse on him, but he has a 26-second lead, and we are on the final lap. Heffern-Owen now through the grandstand at the end of his 2nd lap. Heffern-Owen, number 31, had a start position of 22, and at the grandstand up to 9th place. So a great ride from Heffern-Owen this afternoon. That is number 5, James Hillier. But he is a little bit off the pace, and 11 comes through now. Alan Oversby, that's the man we were waiting for to make up the top 5. Alan Oversby was in 5th position at the grandstand at the end of the 2nd lap. It's number 11, Alan Oversby. He was 24 seconds down on 4th place, Maria Costello. That gap is now 29. So Maria Costello and Jamie Coward pulling away from the next man on the corrected time leaderboard. It's number 11, Alan Oversby, and that advantage, a further 5 seconds gone between the grandstand and Glen Helen on the final lap. Derek Shields will be the man to see whether or not he can push James Hillier down. Shields was ahead of Hillier. Number 18, Shields had a 34-second advantage over number 5, Hillier, at the grandstand at the end of the lap. Of course, Shields went into the pit, and we'll have to see whether or not the pit crew made up that time for him, because 34 seconds, the slowing down, the fuel, starting up again. I suspect we're going to see Hillier just ahead of Derek Shields when Shields gets here. Chris McGahn, a great ride from Chris McGahn this afternoon, up into the top 10. That's number 17, Chris McGahn, 8th place at the grandstand on the end of that lap. Heffernan Owen and Dave McTravers, who we picked on lap 1. Dave McTravers, number 34, just in 10th place at the grandstand at the end of lap 2. And McTravers start position 30 up to 10th place. That's 20 places to the good there for Dave McTravers. And Will Loader, the other man we picked on lap 1, he's through the grandstand now at the end of lap 2. That's number 38, Will Loader, holding on to 12th position. And if we can just change over our screens there, gentlemen, and we'll have a little look at Ballaugh Bridge, because John McGuinness will be pretty close to the Ballaugh area now, I would imagine. And we do see that McGuinness and Stefano Bonetti now both through Ballaugh Bridge. And John McGuinness has now a 28-second advantage over Stefano Bonetti. So McGuinness just pulling away a couple of seconds clearer. There's Derek Shields through Glen Helen now, and he is just ahead of James Hillier for that 6th place. Derek Shields, number 18, 6th place. He has a 3.6 second advantage over 7th place James Hillier. So the pit stop worked to perfection from Derek Shields. Didn't lose any race position as a result of that. So perfectly calculated. But at Ballaugh Bridge, on this final lap of this Bennett's Senior Classic TT, it is John McGuinness and Stefano Bonetti way out in front on the road. And John McGuinness leads the race by 28 seconds. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, I can tell you Jamie Coward has got ahead of Maria Costello on the road, because the margin between the two of them is that at 3rd place Jamie Coward now is 12.8 seconds ahead of number 7 Maria Costello, who's in 4th. The gap at Ballaugh Bridge for McGuinness over Bonetti was 28.4 seconds, and then it's nearly 47 seconds back to Coward in 3rd. The gap between Bonetti and Coward. John Barton's the latest to have gone through here at the grandstand on the matchless at 95.35. And Chris Boyd, John McGuinness was saying he's managing it, but he's not hanging around either.
No, it's a good 111 pace still, all 3 laps, very consistent. The timeout to Ballaugh that we've got is 8 minutes 46 on this lap. Last lap it was 8:42. The standing start lap 8:45. So very, very consistent from John McGuinness.
Absolutely. And to tell you, the recent crossing of the line, number 34, Dave McTravers, 100.54 miles per hour for him. Dave Madster-Migdal a little bit down at 97.57. Another bike coming, 2 more bikes into view. Good racing lower down, number 42 and 55 there. And 42 was Alec Whitwell, and 55 Colin Stockdale. But let's go up to Ramsey Hairpin for the final time in this race, to Roy Moore.
You've got to admire John McGuinness. He's often said he didn't want it all to end on a golf course. The kind of courage of getting everything back together and leading this race, and determined as well. Listen to him at Ramsey for the last time. Smooth as ever, no visor to rip off this time, or one of the cover strips which go over, and certainly on the previous lap he did, but this time he's fully aware of the situation that he's in, and certainly just got to cruise round. But how many times do you say that and it doesn't quite work out like that? But we wish him the very, very best, along with Dan Sale and Ian Hutchinson overcoming terrible injuries, to come back and race again. Stefano Bonetti's not happy. He's looking down on the left-hand side of his machine as he comes in here to Ramsey. But I think he's changing high gear with his hand. He appeared to be down on the left-hand side and just flicking it up, or just something not quite right on the left-hand side. But certainly it appeared to be that is the case as he went away, but certainly not affecting him at all as it went through. But Stefano Bonetti holding on to that 2nd place here at Ramsey, but he's pulled a second back, so it can't be anything too dramatic, I wouldn't have thought, because he's pulled a second back on John McGuinness. Or is John McGuinness just rolling that back a fraction, and a second being allowed there to go on the what was a 26-second gap, 28-second gap at Ballaugh Bridge on this, the final lap, the 3-lap race, down to a 27.7. So fractions of a second, but certainly a little bit pulled back there on the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey Hairpin. So that is the top two through, and certainly it will be, I think, 24 wins for John McGuinness if he can get this through. He did come back and win this race last year. I don't think it would probably, if you say there's such a thing as an easy race, well then it probably wouldn't be. I think it was a bit closer last year. And then the next that we're expecting through is that battle between Jamie Coward, number 8, and number 7, Maria Costello. And the indications are from Ballaugh Bridge, as Tim Glover quite rightly pointed out, that with a 12-second advantage, it must be that Jamie Coward is now ahead on the road. So the single going well. The Ted Woof and certainly Craven Manx, ridden by many over the years, and certainly getting put to good use here by Jamie Coward. And here he is, number 8. Let's listen to the single through Ramsey. Flicks it back, and there's Maria, number 7. So she'll be fully aware of the situation, that it's 4th place for her through Ramsey. A further 2 seconds that Jamie Coward has extended that lead that he had at Ballaugh Bridge. It was up to there 12 seconds that Maria Costello was behind Jamie Coward at Ballaugh Bridge. It's now up to 14. But no doubting the race leader here on his final lap through. It is number 1, John McGuinness, 27.5 seconds ahead. Off in second place, number 2, Stefano Bonetti, who in turn is 51 seconds then ahead, well, 51.5 seconds ahead. Off in third place, holding on to that rostrum place, number 8, Jamie Coward, who in turn is 14.5 seconds ahead. Off in fourth place, number 7, Maria Costello. As they went through Ballaugh Bridge, the order changed slightly. No, that's not changed. That's the same at Ramsey Hairpin. We're just going to do a confirmation that everybody has got through the bungalow. But here at Ramsey, we're expecting James Hillier to be the next to go through, and Alan Oversby. And as if by magic, they appear together with Oversby leading number 11. But, oh, lovely little move there by James Hillier. Just tried to dive up the inside on the left-hand side as they went away, but Alan Oversby was having none of that. Give it a bit of extra pace as he went away, and certainly they went up side by side for a while, but it was Oversby who took the advantage as they headed up towards the waterworks. And how does that put it on the board? Well, it's Maria Costello 4th, Alan Oversby in 5th place, number 11, Alan Oversby, 29 seconds down on Maria Costello. But with the starting advantage between number 11 and number 5, in 6th place is James Hillier, but he's 1 minute ahead of Alan Oversby, behind Alan Oversby. So that is the situation there of our top 6 here at Ramsey Hairpin. Yeah, good ride by Loader. Certainly it's good joy to watch with some of the lower order riders coming through and then seeing that they're creeping up the leaderboard. We've just got that at the bungalow, that John McGuinness has made the mountain climb and has Stefano Bonetti, so they're both through the left-hander, right-hand complex there at the bungalow, under the bridge, and heading up then to the highest point of the circuit up there to Brandywell. And it's virtually the same advantage to John McGuinness as they went through the bungalow of 27 seconds. So it's Stefano Bonetti holding on to that second place, but it's a safe second place at the minute because he's 51 seconds ahead of, in third place, number 8, Jamie Coward. They will then go up to the highest point of the circuit, up there at Brandywell, the right-left complex that takes you then into the site of the finish, virtually, when you go round the 4 left-handers at the 32nd, or Dukes as it's known as now, and then sweep down to Windy Corner, down to the 33rd, and certainly all downhill from there. But certainly it's John McGuinness heading for the win with a 27-second advantage. We'll just take number 18 through, and that is Derek Shields. He's in 6th place, 52 seconds behind Oversby, but 8 seconds ahead off in 7th place, number 5, James Hillier, back to the grandstand.
Thank you, Roy. Going to be interesting to hear Stefano Bonetti's story then, because this last lap he was the quickest of the race through the Sulby speed trap at 142.8. But Roy's certainly saying there that something seemed to be awry, and looking down at the left-hand side of his bike. John McGuinness at the bungalow, 27 seconds, just keeping that margin there for him. And Jamie Coward and Maria Costello have just made it to the bungalow as well. And I can tell you, John McGuinness, the light is on for number 1 now at Cronknamona, our race victor. If he can make it from Cronknamona, the short distance downhill and through Governor's Dip and out onto Glencrutchy Road to claim yet another victory around the mountain course. The checkered flag is readied, but I can tell you that Coward has a 12.8 second advantage in third over fourth place Maria Costello back up at the bungalow. But what another masterclass being put on by John McGuinness. Build the lead and then just maintain it and manage the bike home, we hope, to the finish line as we await to see him just make that little final exit from the dip. Always got to be wary down there and on to Glencrutchy Road, and we should start to hear a pattern very, very shortly. I can hear it. The checkered flag is being readied. We hear him. And now we see him. Back to back Bennett Senior Classic TT victories for John McGuinness. He wins the class for the third time in 4 years. Cue the Team Winfield celebrations. That's his third Classic TT. Add on the 23 TT ones, and you get a magical total of 26. Ring any bells? John McGuinness, what a performance. And that is the first time someone has won back-to-back Senior Classic TTs. This should be our man in second place across the line on another pattern. It is indeed Stefano Bonetti. A little nod, and yes, he does appear to just put his hand down there as he crossed the line to slow the bike down, and the gearing, well, we'll get Chris Kinley to get that story, but it's been an adventure for Stefano Bonetti. But I can see John McGuinness milking the applause up the return lane. Let's go down to Chris Kinley. This 26 wins around the mountain course, Chris.
Aye, but it's not TT 26 wins, Timothy, is it? Come on, don't play with figures. Here he comes into that very, very familiar. I don't think we're going to see any sort of burnout anyway. Nope, we don't. But there he is. A lot of flies. Chris Palmer talked before the start of the race about flies and things. There's lots on the front. And here's Stefano Bonetti into second place. Well done for him. Oh, he'll be happy about that. Very, very good. And the boys in the pit stop there for kind of helped him out a bit too. They've done a lot of work on this bike to get it in. He's shaking his hands at the machine. We'll look after the sound guy from the Green Light guys, but John's family comes in, and we're just waiting now for the third place man. Bonetti's last lap though, 110.13. John McGuinness's last lap, 110.45. I can tell you up at Cronknamona, we do have Jamie Coward through there now. He's a minute and 3 behind Bonetti, and he's got an 11-second lead on Maria Costello, so he won't be too far away from coming across the line, Tim. We'll just keep a little ear on that one, because you're not going to miss that. And that is such a great performance from that single, isn't it? The 500 single to get it in. The Winfield boys are now into John McGuinness. We're letting him take the gloves off. We're letting him take the lid off any moment now. And you will notice he's got a very special crash helmet for this event for this year, for the Festival of Motorcycling, the Classic TT. I can hear a bike in the background. There should be Jamie Coward, Tim Glover.
Yeah, we're looking up the road, and it should be Coward and Maria not too far behind. Looking back at Cronknamona, 11.5 seconds the gap, so we should get them virtually crossing the line together. But it's going to be Coward that takes the plaudits, and there he is crossing the line. And there's Maria in a very valiant fourth. Back to you.